You call them selfish, obsessed, narcissistic, people with no life. You're making the journey infinitely harder than it needs to be. My name is Matt Gounden. I'm the founder of McKay's Enterprises, and I'm currently sitting at a park in Sandton City in South Africa. Now, sitting here in a wealthy neighborhood in the richest square mile in Africa has me thinking about how the non-wealthy generally look at wealthy people as being greedy. They exploit people, or they just got lucky and they only care about money. And what's funny is it's these beliefs that are quietly keeping them from ever becoming one of them. And here's something nobody tells you. Before almost anybody becomes wealthy, they change the way that they look at wealth to stop seeing it as something evil. Because your brain won't let you become something that you secretly hate. Now, once I realized this, it completely changed the way I work. Imagine you really want a six-pack, but you spend every day judging and making jokes about people who gym. You call them selfish, obsessed, narcissistic, people with no life. Do you honestly think your brain is going to let you become one? Of course not, because that would mean that you're becoming somebody that you spend most of your time judging, somebody who you don't truly want to be like. The same thing happens with money. Your internal story is rich people are greedy, rich people are selfish, rich people are fake, rich people exploit others. And what you're really saying is, I want money, but I don't want to become the kind of person who has it. And those two goals cannot coexist with you being able to achieve both. The interesting question isn't whether these beliefs are true. Some wealthy people absolutely do exploit people. Some of them are greedy. Some of them lie, some cheat. But that's reality. The mistake is in assuming that wealth caused this. Think about this. Nobody says that all poor people are criminals because one criminal is poor. Nobody says that all athletes are arrogant because there's a professional athlete who is arrogant. But with wealth, for some reason, everybody takes the worst case studies and assumes that that is the definition of success itself. Why? Because stories travel faster than statistics. Social media loves the outrage. Movies love the evil billionaire. The news loves corruption. Those stories stick, not because they're common, but because they're emotionally interesting. I started asking a different question. Instead of asking, why are rich people rich? I started asking myself, what would someone have to do to make $10 million ethically? Think about it. You'd probably have to solve a very expensive problem, create enormous value, build systems, lead people, take massive risk, and spend years being misunderstood. Could somebody become wealthy through corruption? Absolutely, but the reality is that's not how most long-term wealth is built. Long-term wealth is built by making people's lives better. The coffee you drink, the phone in your pocket, the businesses that employ thousands of people. Someone built those. And this is where the big mental shift happens. Instead of asking, how do I make more money? You would ask, who do I think wealthy people are? Because if my identity says that money creates monsters, then every financial success creates guilt. Every price increase feels wrong. Every sale feels manipulative. Every ambition feels selfish. So what happens is you unconsciously sabotage yourself. You stay small, you avoid selling, you undercut your prices, and it's not because you lack the ability to grow. It's because success would violate your identity. So to end this video off, I want to give you guys a little bit of source. Ultimately, you don't want to think about it as, I want to be rich. Because these little subconscious blockers that we spoke about the whole video long are what ends up holding you back from becoming rich in ways that you don't even understand. So here's how you change that. Instead of saying to yourself, I want to be rich, why can't I be rich, and having all these other problems, ask yourself, what do I ultimately believe about wealthy people? And then come to the realization that wealth amplifies character. It's not a personality transplant. It simply amplifies whatever you had before you had money. So if you were a greedy person before you had money, you'll be greedy after you have money. If you were generous, that will transfer. Once you understand that, wealth stops feeling like something dangerous or evil and starts looking like a way to buy back time, a way to buy luxury, a way to help people in your life, a way to support your family and the people you love. So here's the question. When you picture wealthy people, what's the first few words that come to your mind? Because the answer to that is not going to tell you about wealthy people, but it will tell you about the identity that your mind believes it's allowed to become. And until that identity changes, your actions probably won't either. Because if your definition of success is somebody that you would never want to become, you're making the journey infinitely harder than it needs to be. So you can start investing today, because your first investment isn't money. It's changing the story you have about the people who already have it. Because the moment wealth stops looking like the enemy, you finally give yourself permission to build it. Let's see. Hello.